up, everybody? It is your boy Caio from Red Vents TV. And Arsenal are champions. They are Premier League champions 2025-2026. I've finished my coffee because I needed to make myself up and make sure that I wasn't dreaming. And in a nightmare, basically. It is dark. Legends, it is dark. It's a dark day in history. And I'll explain why. Basically, I'm here to just talk about the end of the season. We still got one game to play, but it's a dead rubber. We have already qualified for Champions League. Yes. We have already secured third place. And we will be moving forward in a much better trajectory than we started off the season with. So, all in all, still good. But the one thing is Arsenal are champions. Man City have done a domestic double. Picked up 2 more trophies. Yeah, our rivals are, most of our rivals, Liverpool. Sorry, Liverpool. But most of our rivals have done better than us this season. Again, for like 10th season in a row. But hey, what's new? But I'm here to just recap my view on the season. And vent obviously a little bit at these North London scamps. Literally, I don't know how to say it. I honestly think they didn't steal it, but it's more like it was stolen for them. But we'll get into that, and I'll explain why. Anyway, let's get into this wonderful club. I'm wearing this kit today simply because it's got the collar, and we got the new kit come out that also has the collar. I'm a big retro shirt fan in terms of all retro shirts. This is amazing. I'll probably only wear this. Okay, so first off, I bought this on my last trip to Old Trafford when I went to see the game. We played Leicester, one of the last games of the season. Oddly enough, Michael Carrick was in charge. This was the season before. Michael Carrick was in charge. And I wore this shirt to see it. So you know what? This makes sense. You know what? I have a good feeling now. I feel a little bit better. It feels like destiny. You know what I mean? He's gonna be our coach. I went to see the game whilst he was the last time he was interim coach. I wore this shirt. Maybe if I win this whole season, next season, I might win the league. And 21 is coming. You know what? No. I mean, I'm trying to be too positive right now. It's dark. I want to be positive, but I'll do that afterwards. It's too dark. But anyway, point being is this. Man United season. We were horrendous. I'm not going to remember any of the stats, but I know that we were horrendous. We finished 15th the season before. Ruben Amorim had gotten us to not so great of a start. However, what we were expecting as a fan base and as a club, it seemed, was that we were supposed to get into top 8 from a place of 15th to make up I don't even know how many points it was between us and top 4 or even the European places last season. It might have been like a 15-point, 20-point swing to make up that difference. With the squad that we had, style of play that we had, where we were in transition was going to be a very tough ask. So at the very minimum, we were expecting or trying to aim for European football. That could mean anything. But I'm sure what we were really hoping for was at least finish in the top 10 and somehow squeak out Conference or Europa League, right? And hopefully win a domestic cup. I think that was my expectations at the beginning of the season. And fairly early in, we were struggling, and rightfully so. But when we got rid of Amorim, some things were really terrible in terms of the relationship that he had with the board and the like Umaparada and CEOs and those guys. Our style of play. What really was a damning thing, he went to a back 4 eventually after being pressured to do so, got a result, then went back to his back 3 and lost. So it didn't work. It was all the proof that they needed to get rid of it. Obviously, that final interview he gave before he was sacked was the closest version to him walking away from the club and saying, "This is untenable. I can't work like this. You're not giving me what you told me you were going to give me." And the only way that he can kind of walk away with a paycheck, I think. And you know what? Get your money because they wasted your time. They were like, you come here now or you don't come here at all when we were trying to get you from Sporting. And you said, okay, bet, I'm coming. But what you got into was way over your head. And we were doing something which we were kind of doing the opposite of what Arsenal did or what mainly like Man City did when they had Mancini, I believe it was, before they brought Pep in. They laid the foundation and set the club up for Pep to succeed. And we didn't do that for Amorim. Instead, we wanted Amorim to come and fix the old problems and then whilst succeeding. Cart before the horse. Bullshit. So he was uphill from the very get-go. And I have my misgivings. I have my problems with them firing him. I think that I was worried, very much worried of what we were doing, how we were harming our long-term goals, for short-term, not even success, but just short-term survival. But looking back at it now, I still maintain that from a long-term perspective, it was going to be it could have worked. And I began to get to the point where I didn't think Amarim was the guy to get us over the line. But I saw him almost but in terms of the function as an Arteta, where Arteta would have gotten us to the point where, or Arteta would have gotten us to the point where we would have gotten to be competitive after like 5 years. And then we get the winner in to just take the structure that we've already built and get us over the line. And that's what I was, I bunkered down and set myself up for. And then tearing that away really made me feel like they were doing, was it Lens, the French team that Ineos co-owns in France? I can't remember the exact the name of the club, but they fired and did a lot of hiring and firing for many years, and really put that team in turmoil. And I was like, oh shit, this is what they're doing to us. I was like, fuck. But credit to them, because one would think that what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he came and the way he saved us and got us, gave us our swagger back and got us competitive again, the way that went down, you think that would never be repeated. That was a bit of a one-off. But they seem to have gotten the concoction right. They brought in Michael Carrick. They're like, listen, we have somebody who's a bit more pragmatic, who is probably better technically as a coach, and is able to get a bit more out of this team because he understands the style of play that we want him to play now, than Amarim ever did. So, we get that in. We also get that manager bounce because he is a former player and he'll have the respect of the players because he's been there and done that before. Same thing with Ollie, but, hopefully a bit better, given the situation. And credit to them, they got it right. I'm still up in the air about our longevity, because what we need is stability. And what we need is to keep on doing the right things and stop doing the wrong things and get rid of the wrong influences and people and stuff like that. So we're still on that process. I think that we've just changed course now. Instead of going down a longer, harder route of basically ripping up and changing the entire identity of the club and building a new one that is, leagues away from Sir Alex Ferguson, for example, and his time here. But they literally, I don't know if you hear this, but my washer in the background just decided to have a fit. But anyway, if you want to step away from that and move away and change the identity of the club, that's a longer process. And you need to have the patience. And that's what Arsenal have done. Now, to be fair, kind of worst for them, because they've sort of like, yes, they've won the league, but is it the old Arsenal? Is it the Arsenal that everyone loved to watch and probably fell in love with? No. But when you're starving for success like they are, you do whatever you have to do. And credit to them, they've won it. Now comes the point in time where will their fan base want to stick with that, even if it brings them success? Will they want to get back to that style of play? Will they want to get back to that domination, that good-looking football, that entertaining football? Would they want to do that? I think so. I think that's just what it is. It's entertainment. No fan wants to sit through drab football for 38 games a season to then party at the end and be like, yeah, we won the league. Yes, for a while you might be okay with that, but eventually be like, what am I spending my money on? They actually make winning boring, So I think that if you want to move away from that, you also have to, but one thing remains true, you still have to entertain the people that spend their money to come see you play. And so I think they saw the error of their ways, it seems, and they decided to change, or actually redirect back onto the course that in the way that our team was built and how we wanted to play. And they brought the proper manager in to do it, and it seemed to work. And now we are top 3. Now we are in the Champions League. Now we have we've sort of like, we can rejuvenate and even quicken the pace in which we become competitive in this league again. By this recent success, we just need to make the right choices, and the right choices and our bigger choices, they are higher stakes and there's less room for error. Whereas I think on the previous course that we were on allowed us to experiment, make mistakes, recover, while setting up a really strong permanent foundation. Now with this, you're required to keep up appearances of success and competitiveness whilst dealing with that pressure and also laying a more stronger permanent foundation. I'm talking about a foundation that's more permanent and stronger than what Sir Alex Ferguson left. Because frankly, he left us as champions, but structurally, it wasn't that strong of a structure. Otherwise, it would have held on. It would have seen us through. I think, and I agree with a lot of people where we were saying we were just basically surviving off of our name, our history, and that spirit, that thing that we have as a club to take us through. And I really, really firmly believe that. And also, and by that I also mean the name that we have, the history that we have, the philosophy that brought in great players that still wanted to play for us even when we couldn't offer them Champions League football. And a humongous paycheck. That's also part of it, but we earned that money with our previous success. So now that momentum is dying out, and credit to us, it's taken nearly 2 decades for that momentum to wear off, that momentum of dominance to wear off, to where now we really need to work to bring in the right people, or that want to come play for us, that could sell shirts, or we need to now go into our market and be so frugal and so astute that we need to find diamonds in the rough in order to not pay that United tax that when we go into the market to pay for English or very great players that everybody else wants. So now we're in a better position, yes, but like Biggie said, more money, more problems. You know what I mean? So I think overall, a very good season. Overall, especially where we started, much higher than expectations. I think we've exceeded expectations. Now, further expectations are going to be higher than we started off with this season. And credit to them for that. For actually doing that. It's a problem you want to have, and I think that we're in a better position because better people are in place to deal with these kind of situations, right? So I hold my hands up and I say, you guys got this. This is where we're going right now. Please don't fuck it up. It's actually a better place than we thought we would be. Don't let it slip. Make the right choices, make the right calls, get the right people. Back this manager with a squad that he can feel confident going into the Champions League with. We're not going to participate. That's not who we are. We're going to really give a good go at it. Back this guy. I'm not expecting the miracles, even though one could consider this season a miracle. But I am expecting us to walk into next season, Prem, Cups, Champions League, with a swagger of old. Because I've seen glimpses of it here. And you need to bring in the players that have that. The Cunhas and them, the Bruno that has that swagger like Bruno does. He has kindred spirits now in the team. And we need more of that. But anyway, speaking of Bruno, next thing I want to talk about is Bruno Fernandes. Joint top assister in the league. And it is only when we have a United player excelling that I see pretty much the rest of the league is like, this is record, is this not a big deal anyway? Shut up. What the f*** you talking about? Shut up. Everybody was glazing Thierry Henry for time, especially Arsenal fans, glaze Henry for time, deserved. Glaze, as much as they glaze that golden trophy that they have for the Invincibles, with 12 draws and shit, man, miss me with that. They're supposed to win every single game and get a golden trophy. That's fucking white mediocrity, in my opinion, when it comes to that. If you are to win a golden Prem trophy, you need to win every single Prem game. Not draw, not lose, win. That is an invincible. Never being beat. Being held to a stalemate is not being invincible. It means you got clocked, you got rocked, and somehow you managed to survive. That's what it is. So, anyway, that's my little thing on the invincibles. But credit to them. And I think that only when a team does that, it will prove or show that Arsenal's invincible wasn't as invincible as we thought it was. But moving on. Bruno Fernandes. Let me talk. I think like his third season or so when he was struggling and he was throwing his hands up and moaning and stuff like that, I went in on him. I can't remember where the tweets are, but I was upset with him. I'm like, we are looking for you to be this leader. And you are here crying and moaning when things don't go away. You're supposed to hold it down. You're supposed to help everybody hold their heads high. Yada, 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 yada. From a United captain, I don't expect this. I expected a Roy Keane. I expected a Scholes. I expected who else was a captain? I expected a Ray Rooney or somebody. Dennis Law, Cantona, anybody that's been a captain, to have that thing where no matter what the team is going through, you could always look at your captain to find your center and direction in how you do the game, how you proceed with the game, and how you proceed with your team and your performances. And I wasn't seeing it, and I laid into him, and it was probably one of the most tumultuous time in the club. I think it was at a point where there was a lot of growing pains. And he was the only one dragging us out of problems. And then he was given the captaincy, and the shirt was heavy. I think that responsibility was heavy. And I laid in on it. I laid into it. And I think that, as I said that, later on in that season, he started to pick it up. Now, I'm not saying he listened to me, read my tweet or anything like that, but after he started to change. I'm just saying, Bruno. minha esposa is Portuguese. So, I'm kindred spirit to the Portuguese, you know what I'm saying? So maybe he heard me somewhere over the ethos. Anyway, point is, he changed, or he really settled in afterwards. And he realized that I'm looking for someone, my equal, so that as a team we could kind of pull ourselves up. But I'm actually the captain. They're looking at me. And so eventually, through his performances and his leadership and leading by example, we get the Bruno that we see today, who was putting up decent numbers even in Amorim's system. And even if the numbers wasn't there, his contributions and what he was doing with the team and how he was really holding us down, because obviously he had to, like, even with under Solskjaer, he had to, like, start to, like, go play midfield instead of Cam, and he was playmaking more, and he was basically trying to be a scoles and keep the team ticking. Now that's not where he's best, but there was no one better to do it, so he did it. And then of course Carrick came in, and the rest is history. He is now the joint top scorer with Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry. That's an amazing feat. And it's only when we have someone like that, they're like, people are like, no. He's done something in the history of the Prem that only 2 other people have been able to do. And 2 people in amazing teams. What team was Thierry Henry in? Wasn't it a Premier League winning team that season? Maybe? Somebody, let me know. But he was in a Premier League winning team. Whether it was that season or the season after or the season before, it was within that time period. Kevin De Bruyne was in arguably one of the best teams the Prem has ever seen, and the best coach you've ever seen. And he did that. Bruno did this in a United team that finished 15th the season before. Had basically almost like if you're racing someone and everyone goes to the blocks and they say set and then they say go. United was one of the last teams off the line. Everyone got the jump on them. And he still managed to do that after the change of management, change of style of play, change of system, and got joint Premier League assistant record. That is amazing. And it's only as we've been removed and we've seen how difficult things are for us that we see, for example, how Mourinho, when he said, he was exaggerating a bit, of course, but how hard it was and how good it was for him to be able to get us to second that season when he finished second with us. And he said, oh, it's my best finish, my best result as a manager ever. When you realize how hard it was when the others came in and flopped, then you actually appreciate how serious and how much skill it really took. Same thing with Bruno. Give this man his flowers. And I also tweeted after when he started to really settle into this role as captain, I said, I take back every bad thing I said about you. I really do. Because what I understood then and now that I didn't know before, that grinding, groaning, or whatever it is that he used to do, was out of pure frustration because of his will to win, because of his high standards, and his quest for absolute excellence and the winning at all costs. Honestly, I see it in my partner. She's Portuguese, she's a sports person. It might be a sport thing, not just the fact that they're from the same country. But as a high-level competitive person in a sporting field, I see that same attitude in her that I see in him. That no nonsense, I do not accept losing at all. I can't accept it. And the more he got more people like that around him, the more you saw him be able to shed that thing where he needed to express that a whole lot, because there's other people doing that, and there was enough space now for him to basically take on the role of a leader, where people are actually pulling their weight. Remember, we have our front line that we brought in, each has between 10 and 11 goals. All of them are in double figures, so all of them are pulling their weight to a certain degree. So he's not burdened with the entire burden of scoring and assisting. That means he gets to lead, he gets to teach, he gets to position people, he gets to view the game more. He isn't carrying the team on his back as much. So, Bruno Fernandes, to me, player of the season. Player of the season, Premier League player of the season. If you give Declan Rice this, I don't know, Rice or something, that's just favoritism for the team that won the league. You're talking about a guy who's playing in a team that has overachieved this season, that finished 15 last season. I'm not even going to repeat myself. Hands down, it's Bruno Fernandes. And this last game against Brentford, if he breaks that record, because he's tied right now, if he breaks it and takes it 21-22, technically he should have been on 23 since the last game. It's just that nobody wanted to finish their dinner. If they do not give it to him, highway robbery. And Bruno has been getting better and better each season. He's aging like fine wine. This guy's like 31 or 32, and he's still running up and down that field for 19 minutes, 36, 37. I think he's missed maybe, 4 or 5 games this season? He's played probably 30 plus games this season, and all of them, most of them, 90 minutes plus. The engine on this guy, like he is probably the only player in the last 10 years that's been paid one of the highest wages in our club and has actually fucking earned it. He's worth the money that we spent. He's even worth more than what we spent to buy him and what we've spent to pay him over this time. So I will accept no Bruno Fernandes slander. I've not accepted ever since he started to settle down, and I apologized online. I will accept no Bruno Fernandes slander. When his time is done with us, I will view him in the same regards as Scholes and Keane. I will regard him with that kind of respect. I'm not saying he's better than them or anything like that. I'm saying I will regard him with the same respect. Plain talk, bad manners. Cool. Right, so we're gonna do a keep, sell, loan, a very quick one. I think that if we were on the previous path with Amorim, it would be a different situation with who we keep, sell, loan, buy, whatever. Simply because we would have different needs and we would be in a different position. We definitely wouldn't have finished third. We might have finished 6th or 7th, and that would have meant Europa League and different amounts of money to spend and yada yada yada. So, but now we're here, and so I think that we need to really take this into consideration. So I'm on the list now. We're going from forwards back, and I'm going to tell you who I want. I don't care. They'll figure out who comes next, who I think we want to come next, and I'll give my opinions on it. But I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is what we really should do. I'm just going like, this is what we have based on their recent performances, a couple of seasons. Should sell, go, keep, whatever. Brutal Edition as there's a guy that I follow. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I'll say who it is when I find this. I'll probably put his link somewhere. But anyway, Mateus Cunha, keep, obviously. 10 goals this season. Started off a bit slow at the beginning of the season, but his contributions to the team, even whilst just his hold-up play, he's helped us see out some very important games when we were like 1 goal up and kind of kill the game off with his ability to hold people off, bring other people into play. And then when the goals came, they came, and they were some very important ones. So came in clutch. He's a maverick. He has this ability. Like we're getting that Wolves Cunha, and a more mature one as well. I really like him. He's good. Xerxes, sell. Doesn't work in our team, and no iteration of this team has he ever really fit. I've seen him play. I love his ability to bring other people into the game. His passing is really good when he gets that ball on the half turn in the final third. But his end product isn't good. His decision making isn't always good. He is slow and not as physical enough for the Prem. And for somebody so tall, I'm very disappointed in his aerial ability. So I would sell him. Ahmad, poor-ish season. After AFCON, he started off pretty well. To be fair, he's one of the few players that was better under Amorim than he is now. And it seems like on this system he was better and he was switched on as a right wing back, but as a right winger, not as much. I still think this guy should be a cam, but I don't think he would be a cam here because you got a couple other players. You probably got Cunha who could play there. You definitely have Bruno. They want to bring in someone who's just as established as a Bruno backup, so he will still fall down the pecking order. So if he's not going to be a good right winger for us, I'd still keep him, but he will be backup. He will be a backup right winger to whosoever comes and takes over that role. Because even Mbeumo is good on the right, but he also hasn't been great. So we gotta hope that maybe next season he starts on the right, Mbeumo I mean, and continues to be good, has a better form, regains his form, and I would keep Ahmad as backup for him. But he also needs to improve, and this will be his last season. Next season will be his last season with us if he does not improve. Brandon Mbeumo, keep. Good signing, started off really well at the beginning, tailed off just like Ahmad after AFCON. Yeah, needs to just regain form. He's great. He's actually really good. I like his energy. I like his tenacity, and he still tries. He really tries and plays. And this is across the entire front line. Everyone still tries. Benjamin Sesko keep, whose second half of the season picked up the slack that both Cunha and Mbeumo were giving when they weren't scoring. And the switching system and coach seemed to have really helped him. It didn't make sense why he came in when he was playing under Amorim because it just didn't work. But he's working on a system that works better, and we actually have an aerial threat from our striker, and that's a really nice thing to have. 10 goals was good. I'm looking for more from him. I want him to score more. I understand, however, that given the situation where you have Cunha and Mbeumo and Bruno who can all score and who are also looking for goals, I don't expect him to be a 20 goal a season striker. I need him to at least be aiming for 15, and the other guys will chip in where they have to chip in. But once they start looking for him a bit more, I think they're going to find him, and he'll also set them up a bit better. But I think so far it seems like with the amount of talent that we have up front, spreading those goals around will be fine. I think he's part of that too as well. At least in the games when he's not scoring, he's at least contributing way more than Højlund, Xerxes, any other striker that we've ever had, to be fair, other than maybe Ronaldo and Cavani from recent memory. He's contributed more, even when not scoring. Chido Obi, bring him. I bring him. He'd be third choice striker in the first team for me. I think we still need to get another striker to either compete with Benjamin or back him up. If we're really going for challenging for the league next season, we need to get someone even better than Benjamin Sesko. And so Chido can remain in development, maybe even go out on loan. And Benjamin will play second to whoever comes in. But if we want to go old school way, like how Fergie did it, and he had multiple people, because he understands people go off the ball, which is kind of what Carrick did, because he has all these people up front, and he realized, okay, not everybody's going to be scoring all the time. So hopefully when one is flat, the other one is picking up the slack. So I think if you have a competitive person or senior to Benjamin Sesko, and keep Chido in. So I'd keep both of them, Chido and Benjamin Sesko. Ethan Wheatley on loan to I can't remember where he's been loaned to. I'd sell him. I haven't seen enough of him to really make me be like, he's worth giving a shot on promoting into the first team, even as a squad or a backup to the squad player, you know what I mean? A reserve. I'd sell him. Rasmus Højlund has been sold, so he's gone. Marcus Rashford, pains. Love the guy. But absolute power corrupts, absolutely. Being given that Starboy treatment, all that smoke blown up your ass, that money that they give him, I'm not going to lie, £350,000 a week seems to be like the poison chalice for most players. With the exception of truly world-class players like Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. I think Bruno's on 300, Casemiro was definitely on 350. They're the ones that are able to carry that weight of that amount of a paycheck and carry it well. Everyone else that's gotten it has proven to be flops. So, Marcus Rashford, tough one. If he comes back, if Barcelona don't sign him, I'd say we still, you know, we sell him. I think we still sell him to someone else, not a Premier rival, because it would hurt to see him go to like Arsenal or something. But I'd sell him. But if he comes back humble and he talks to Michael Carrick and all these type of things, we could use him for the season as competition or backup for Cunha, because if we have him, he can play on the left, he can play as a striker, and he can, basically fill in like on the left if Cunha has to play that number 10 if Bruno isn't available. You know, it just means more diversity across the front line. And then we reassess and we look to sell him on at the end of next season. But his wages are too big. They're too much. Honestly, I'd call me an asshole, but he came back and be like, bro, you're going to have to take a pay cut. If you want to come back in this thing, you're going to have to take a pay cut. You're going to have to go down to about 200K, 250. And you're going to have to understand that you're not going to be the main man. It's like Barcelona. You're going to have to accept rotation, or you're going to have to make yourself undeniable in your position. I don't want to hear anything else. And if you can't accept that, fuck off. Sad to say, but that's what it is. Jadon Sancho, fuck off, dickhead. Nothing left said, fuck off. Mason Mount, fuck off, waste some money. I'm sorry you're injured. I really don't like that type of thing. But right now you're really reading like fucking, you're trying to pull a Phil Jones, and I don't want to. Phil Jones fucking gives me anxiety. Listen, he's had a hard life. I wish they made like a documentary so everyone can see exactly what this guys went through, so that nobody thinks that he stole a living at United. But right now, without that, to me, you look like you're stealing a living. You need to fuck off. Go somewhere else, because these injuries are ridiculous. Bruno Fernandes, he needs to retire here. He needs to retire here. Build a fucking statue. I'd make him part of a trio statue. If you're gonna put Keane, Scholes, and him, put him in a statue. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But I really, really love the guy. He needs to stay, and I wish he would retire here. Casemiro's gone. Thank you very much, Casemiro. The cream did rise to the crop eventually. I was wondering if we should get rid of him in that bad season, but he really, really locked in and came back. So credit to him. Manu Lagate, sell. Just not up to scratch. Kobe Manu, our future. Keep this guy. Don't swell his head. Don't make the mistakes that you made with Rashford. And keep him hungry. He is one of our future. Jack Fletcher, Tyler Fletcher, keep. For legacy-wise, keep. I think they also have some good traits about them. I think that they can be good squad fillers, and see how well they they come through. It can be the those twins. They could be like the Neville brothers, or they can be those twins that we had at left back and right back. I can't remember their names, the Brazilians. Toby Collier, sell. Didn't show enough. Hasn't shown enough. Dan Gore, not sure. Didn't mean to rhyme. Dan Gore, not sure. I heard a lot of good things about him, but I wouldn't be surprised if we should sell him. Maybe recoup something. There's more people in the academy right now that we can invest more time and money in. Diogo Dalot. I wanted to get rid of Diogo so long ago. He's frustrating. He reminds me of Marcus Rojo, how he used to frustrate me. Had the ability to find himself in some really amazing positions, chance to win games, decide games, make a deciding pass, and just didn't and wasn't able to do it, and that pissed me off so much. Like where you are, I would want Bruno Fernandes to be. Where you were, I would want Ronaldo to be. Why the fuck are you there? Only to waste the opportunity. And that's Diogo's main issue for me. But we can't overhaul the entire team. You know what I mean? So I think that I would give him, he will have a spot still on the team. I think that probably has a couple more seasons in him for us, I think, before I want to upgrade and get somebody better in terms of like fully moving out the squad. But for now, if he's first choice, I'd say okay. I'd say all right. Because he still gives you energy, he still gives you a lot of games during the season, so, and he still does help out a little bit. So keep. Mazwari, keep. He struggled this season, I'm not going to lie. He did, but he also struggles from that AFCON situation that all the African players suffer from. So I'm going to give him a bit of a pass this season. But I love his defensive attributes. I love his tenacity. I love how he plays and how he handles himself. He reminds me of a Wan-Bissaka. Not exactly the same, but in terms of defensive contributions, the safe pairs of feet, sometimes he had a few mistakes this season. But again, I'm going to blame that on AFCON. I say keep him for now. Again, you can't overhaul everything. Again, if he's a squad player, fine by me. Matthias de Ligt, out for like most of the season. Hasn't kicked the ball in like 4 months, and is going to be out for another 4 probably. He'll be hopefully back at the beginning of the season maybe, but even that's going to take time. He has a very serious injury. I don't know. He is one of our best defenders. He's top 3 defenders in our entire team, but he's just not fit enough. He's young. He's like 25, isn't he? If we decide that, here what, we're going to invest in him right now as if we were doing with Euro and those guys. Because if it's Euro, Heaven, Matthias de Ligt for the next season, like let's say 27-28 season. 27-28? Yeah, 27-28 season. I might be like, all right, invest in him. Then he'll come back because he is so good. He can play or be the Harry Maguire when Harry Maguire isn't around anymore. So it depends. If we want to cash in at this age, then, well, I mean, we got to keep him for now because he's not going anywhere. He's on a treatment table and he's on recovery, so he's going to be kept till for most of next season. So keep for now. We have no choice anyway. But we've got to make a decision come the end of the 26-27 season. Harry Maguire, keep. We need that experience. He has seen a renaissance over the last couple of seasons. Love what he's doing, and he's been very solid. And he's found his way back to being, and in some ways exceeding what we were expecting. Well, actually, no, he's living up to what we expected when we first bought him. So I'd keep him for another year. He's like 33 or something like that. Keep him around. Keep him around. I think he's got at least a couple more seasons in him at this level where he can do a job, where he can rotate like we've been doing this season. Keep him. Lisandro Martinez. I love the Butcher so much, but he's so injured. And he's only just come back. So if we're looking, I'm looking at this thing. I don't know, boy. It might be difficult to display some of these people. I'd probably sell Lisandro. Do I want to? I love the Butcher so much when he plays, but he's so freaking injured. He's another, what's this guy's name? He's a Phil Jones / this guy from Cameroon. I can't remember his name right now. Eric Bailly. Or was he Senegalese? I can't remember. But it's Eric Bailly. Just too good, but just broken. Always broken. I think we keep him for now. He can contribute. I think we keep him. Especially since we don't have Matthias de Ligt available for next season, basically, for most of next season. I say we keep him. So long as he helps stay fit. And there are slots opening up, I think. So with Matthias not there, we'll have to get someone. Which moves me on to Tara Malacia. He's leaving, so that's another spot open for another defender to come in. Dorgu is there, but could we see him play on the right now that he's back as a right winger instead of a right wing back or a right back? So there may be a defensive position open up there now that he could play further up the field. Lenny Euro, keep. Shaky season. Don't understand why we need him to develop, but I think it's just a lot of change and uncertainty and instability. I think he just needs a bit more of a stable season. So keep him. Luke Shaw frustrates me the same way, to the same level that Delo and what's his name? Phil Jones and them used to frustrate me, but it's mainly because he feels like he was stealing a living sometimes. Like, I get it. You had a leg break years ago. It's gonna take years before it's healed and fully together. And you're never quite the same player after that. But you're being paid so much money. And when you're fully fit, I need to see you put yourself back on the line. Your need to play for this team and compete and whatnot needs to outweigh sometimes your own personal safety. There, I said it. Sorry. But that's what it is. You're getting paid a lot of money. And it might sound harsh, but to me it's true. You were given enough time to heal, enough facilities and stuff to help you deal with your mental issues and whatnot. You yo-yoed with your weight. You didn't take care of yourself. And you only showed up when there was national team selection on the line. And the same goes for this fucking season. You played 37 going on 38 games for this entire fucking season. Why? Because we didn't have, one, because we didn't have European football. And two, it's a World Cup year. Look back at the trends. Every single time there's Euros or national football, the World Cup, you've played out your skin. You become prime Cafu, prime Roberto Carlos, prime fucking Marcelo. What the hell? Couldn't get this 3 seasons in a row. Couldn't even get the 2 seasons in a row. The fuck? You piss me off, man. And now you're playing like this. And so now we're gonna have to keep you. Now nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, well now we're gonna. But come after the World Cup, your ass is going to be on the fucking treatment table. And we're not going to see you for a. I'm predicting this now. Out of the entire season, next season, Luke Shaw is we're gonna be lucky if he plays half the games. And it's natural because football, that amount of football is going to, it's gonna burn anybody out. But you have someone like Bruno Fernandes who's played the last, I think, pretty much effort-wise, the exact same way, the exact intensity, the exact amount of time, all of the games, 90% of the games, every single season, for how long he's been here for. Came in to us like, what, 2020, I think? He was there before the pandemic. So maybe 2018, 2019. So for nearly 7, 8 years. No, 6 years. For about at least 6 years. Consistency. And he can't even, this is the first season he's played a full season. And it had to come with conditions, asterisk next to it. No European football. Basically. Yes, cup football, but we got knocked out very early. So he may have played, because I can't remember if he played any of the cup games, but he may have played a little bit over 40 game season. This is the first time in his entire career he's ever done that. Nah, man, pissing me off. I'd get rid of him tomorrow if I could. Just under principle. Thank you, cool, go play your World Cup, fuck off. Let's get somebody who will be consistent or more hungry or whatever. But he's actually pretty decent. So, I keep him. But I'd find somebody to replace him. I'd find his replacement and that person would be in the squad and take his spot. Aiden Heaven, keep. Amazing season. Amazing season for such a young player. He's outperformed people that we've paid, even more young players that we've even paid more money for. He's outperformed Lenny Euro. It's been amazing. For £1 million. Thank you, Arsenal. Better than Malacia. And he's been more consistent than Alessandro Martinez and Matthias de Ligt. Like, right now, as far as defenders for the season, he arguably may be the best centre-back we've had this entire season. Arguably. It's between him and Harry Maguire, to be fair. Or maybe Diego Dolo. Maybe, because he's got more games and he showed up. And he's played first team more. I said Dogo keep, Lenny Euro keep, Luke Shaw keep, begrudgingly. Aiden Heaven, definitely keep. Tyler Fredrickson, I don't know anything about him. Loan. Diego Leon, already on loan, keep you on loan. Because he looks like he will be a brick wall in the coming season. I think he was like 16, 17. He's not even like 21 yet. So, son. Harry Amas is on loan. I'll assess him and see if he's worth keeping at least in the reserves for a call-up if something does go wrong or if he's needed. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if there's an option to buy wherever he's loaned, so I don't know. I would keep because I hear he's doing some good things over there. We move on to the goalkeepers. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be quick, I think. Behind there, sell. Just not up to scratch. Tom Heaton, I think he's gone. He's either retired and turned into like a coach thing now. So we're keeping him, but he's no longer on the first team. Andrew Onana, fuck all the way off. Well, come back here and fight for your place. I don't give a shit about that. Fuck off. Brother, you're shit. You're absolute shit. You've cost us more points than I think any other goalkeeper has had in our history. I'm just making this arbitrary statement, but I'm so dead sure of how shit you are that that's the case. And you've done that in less time that you've been here than other keepers have been for far longer. You know, De Gea was there for maybe 4 times the length of you being at our club. Schmeichel. and I can't remember the other guy name, the Dutch guy, better than you, less mistakes, and you fucked up in a shorter space of time than they ever did. More times than they ever did in their entire careers. So fuck off. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. I don't even want to see it. Sonny Lemons, breath of fresh air. Amazing signing. We keep. He's pretty much our keeper for the next decade. And I'm happy. I'm happy. As far as signings for the season, 10 out of 10 for all of them. They've all been great. And that is credit. I gotta give credit to Omar Barada and the scouting team and these guys. So I hope that trend continues. I'm gonna get rid of these dickheads. Anyway, that is it for keep, sell, loan, whatever. Cool. Now, I see we're interested in Elliot Anderson and Baleba in the midfield. It seems like a midfield rebuild is on the cards, just like we did with the attack. And I'm all for it. I think Elliot Anderson, when we played Nottingham Forest last, I think a few days ago, showed how good he is. And I think that he is worth the money. I think we get him and Baleba, and that's a good start. Baleba had a bit of a rough season this season, but I think, everything's in roundabouts, and he's young, so I think we can do that. If we can secure Elliot Anderson and Baleba, that's good. I think we're looking at Fernandez. Can't remember what is his first name, but he's with West Ham. They could possibly be relegated soon. So I definitely think that it's time where we can, since he's not, I don't think he's in his World Cup squad, so we can try to lock that down pretty quickly in a team that's possibly going down. So if we're waiting for them to get relegated, his price is going to go down, but competition for him is going to go up. So there might be that big of a difference to what we might pay for him now versus what we would pay with competition. So I say go and get him now. He sounds like a good, a solid player. I think Anderson is the best one. Given that Pep is leaving, I'm gonna get to that just now. I think it might disenchant him from wanting to go to City. He might want to go to the champions Arsenal. So we'll see. We gotta compete for his signature. But I say we go for him now. Him, Fernandez, Baleba. We're going with Prem proven. So I can see that happening, at least probably getting 2 out of the 3. If we get Baleba and Fernandez, that's still good, because we do still have Bruno Fernandes. I don't want to go for Cole Palmer. I understand, but Cole Palmer is a mistake that we've always made. He's another fucking Mason Mount waiting to happen with his just recent injury record and the amount of money he would want and what Chelsea would want from him. I don't like it. So, nah, I prefer to get him on a free. You know what I mean? And if that's not going to happen, I'd rather invest in Elliot Anderson. So, I think from a defensive standpoint, we need a left back. We definitely need a left back. We need a centre back. We need a striker. Apart from the midfield rebuild. If we want to challenge next season, we're going to need at least 6 players. Right? That's where I start. That's where I sit on that thing. City I'm going to move on to Pep and City. So, 115 charges later. City still facing those charges. Pep is leaving because I think he knows that the hammer is coming down. I think he also sees the quality of the league kind of dropping a bit, even in his team. So therefore, he's got to fight even more now to get things to keep competitive. So I think he's cutting a run. He's cutting a run. Good riddance. I mean, in that sense. But we will miss a team that plays great football, that competes, that can represent us on the international stage. But under the means in which it happened, it's very dubious, and I think that it really needed to come to an end. So he's going, apparently. The team he's going to leave the team, I think, in some kind of turmoil. They're going to be in some problems, man. I'm not going to lie. I see that, some of the players may get poached to Madrid. Like Haaland, I could see Haaland in Madrid. Like, he would be disgusted. Haaland in Madrid, disgusted. You know what I mean? Over, like, him, Mbappe, and Vinicius. I don't think it will work because right now, both of them, like Vinicius and Mbappe, can't get along in the same team. But, I mean, Madrid always builds super teams. They get fucking Ancelotti in on that later on because he's with a World Cup right now. He's with Brazil. That combinates. If that happens, he wins World Cup, he leaves Brazil, he goes to Madrid again, super team, and they have the fucking, what do you call that thing again? Galacticos again. Pressure for everybody. But I'm just playing. Truth is, they're going to be they're still in transition. They're going to have to be even more in a transitional phase when he leaves. So, what can happen to a better team? And 115 charges later, I hope you guys get the date in court that you deserve. Anyway, they quietly want to double. And I'm kind of happy. Happy is a gross overstatement, but I'm at least okay with them not winning a domestic treble, another treble, because they've won a treble before. It's what they use the yappa with us against United. Again, 115 charges, but I'll throw the asterisk over that and leave it there. But another domestic treble would mean that they have a little bit more of a claim to chat shit to us, and I didn't want that. So Fair enough. Take it to tin pots, as everybody says whenever they don't win it, and be happy. At least he brought you 2 trophies before he left. You know, possibly the same trophies that he gave them when he got there. I can't remember. Did he win a double when he got here, or the next season? I don't think they won any. I can't remember. But either way, basically, I think his first cup that he won was a domestic cup. So he's left you poetically. He left you the exact same way that he met you. So yeah, that's that. I see them falling down the table next season and for the next couple of seasons as well. Where do you go from Pep? You're gonna lose your aura if you don't choose the next person. You're gonna lose aura, and people are not gonna be as fearful. They're already not as fearful of you. I don't fear City anymore. You know what I mean? And that's with Pep in charge. We're gonna move on to the other teams before I address the elephant in the room, because we're pushing an hour just now. After I cut it all up and whatnot, it might still be about an hour. So, other teams. I think. Let me take a look at the Prem table right now. I've forgotten a little bit. We've got our top 4. It is Arsenal, City, United. Who's 4th? Is it flipping Aston Villa? Yeah, Villa. And I think Villa is pretty much secured. Villa's pretty much secured top 4 by beating Liverpool. Villa has had an amazing couple of seasons, and they made such an astute appointment in Unai Emery. He is a top-class manager, and he's a top-class manager in getting the most out of mediocre clubs. And not even mediocre, let me not say that. Having clubs with less resources punching well above their weight. And it's good for the league. I really have a lot of respect for Unai Emery. I don't think, I never thought of him as a manager for our club, but I like what he represents. You know what I mean? He's literally the Jose Mourinho, in Porto. He's the Sir Alex Ferguson with Aberdeen and even United at the beginning. He is that guy. He is that underdog guy that takes a club with his 2 hands and props them up to success. Like he's that. He proves his mettle with that. He's so good. I have to give him that props. And then Liverpool at 5th. Liverpool! How's that going for you? They might still get Champions League football because of how things are working out right now. But they've had a poor season, especially as poor as when you're thinking of former champions. They were last year's champions, and this is not a good showing for them at all. But hey, they've won a league, so you know they could feed off of that for the next couple of seasons whilst they rebuild and stuff like that. But they're in turmoil, so it might be a couple of seasons before we see them competing again. I don't know for sure, but it seems that way. Bournemouth, surprise. I got my dad's captain is a Bournemouth supporter. Credit to them, they were kicking. They had a very, very strong start to the season, and that's helped them stay up above in the top 10. And I think they're in Europa League spots. It's very possible that I believe Europa League is confirmed. At least Europa League is confirmed. And last game of the season, I think they could still get Champions League, which would be amazing. I don't even know if they'll be allowed to play these games in their stadium. They only got like a 10, 15K seated stadium. That's ridiculous. It's basically playing Champions League in a flipping Conference League stadium. You know what? More power to them. Brighton as well. Very, very very impressive. They've had very good seasons. Chelsea, disappointing. They're in Conference League places right now. They don't deserve anything. They've been terrible over this season. Terrible. But you know what? They deserve everything. They deserve everything they're getting right now. Brentford, Sunderland, Newcastle, Everton, Fulham, Leeds, Palace, Nottingham Forest, and Spurs in that order. They've all had pretty bad seasons. Pretty bad seasons in comparison. Newcastle in particular, simply because they were in, I think out of all of them, they were in much better positions to challenge for top 4. But yeah, something's going awry with them. They're 11th right now. Spurs they are 1-2 points above the drop zone. Last game is going to see them either stay up or go down. They have to win, I believe. They absolutely have to win. If they draw and West Ham win their last game, because that's the only team that could possibly get out of the drop zone. It's between Spurs and West Ham to go down. If Spurs win, they stay up. West Ham will have to win, and Spurs will have to lose for them for their positions to be swapped. If Spurs draw, West Ham will have to win, and win by a goal difference of about 5 probably. I think about 5. At least 5 or 6 in order to overtake them. That's improbable. Spurs will have to lose to completely lose their ability to stay up. So it's going to be an interesting last day. It's going to be a very, very interesting last day. At least for the bottom part of the table. Everywhere else is pretty much spot on. The only Champions League and European places, European football places, still have to be decided a little bit. Yeah, because Chelsea can easily get into the Europa League spots if at least above Brighton, if decisions or games don't go their way. If games don't go in Brighton's favour and their game goes their way, and they just beat to go above Brentford, they just beat Spurs. So yeah, it could be something like that. I think what's going to happen is Liverpool. Let's see what the matches are. Well, this one is a dead rubber. So City play Aston Villa. We already have the positions sorted. I don't think anyone's catching them, so that'll be fine. We play Brighton. So Brighton, if Brighton lose to us, they could drop into the Conference League. It's a 1 point difference between them and Chelsea. So we actually have a say in Chelsea's and Brighton's European football next season. Spurs Everton. I suspect Spurs will win that, either at home. So if they do win that, then they're up. Or they could draw, then they're most likely still up. West Ham is playing Leeds. Now Leeds is a team that they're accustomed to getting beat really badly. And Leeds is playing away, so West Ham are playing at home. There is a possibility Leeds could make that 5-goal swing here. Sorry, West Ham can make that 5-goal swing. But they also don't have the best defensive track record. So I see West Ham winning, but I also see Spurs at least drawing. So West Ham are going to go down. And I like West Ham. I like kind of like them. I got a little soft spot for them, but I want your center. I want your midfielder. So if it's going to be cheaper if you guys have gone down, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Assna, they played Palace, dead rubber game. Chelsea plays Sunderland. Chelsea should win that, but they're playing away. So I don't know. It's up in the air with them and Sunderland, and it's up in the air with us and Brighton. We might be on the beach. So who's to say? We'll see come the end of the season. Anyway, let me go back to my notes. PGMOL. First of all, fuck VAR. I hate VAR. It is probably one of the they've taken a great system. If you watch tennis, if you watch cricket, you've taken a borderline flawless decision making system and somehow managed to fuck it up and corrupt it. That's wild. That's absolute. How? You're telling me that you have systems in which tennis balls going in excess of 80 miles per hour, you can tell whether it's on the inside of a line or out. You can tell whether it's camera angles and whatnot, can tell whether it's touched the net or not, where someone's foot has landed, whatever the case may be. In cricket, you can tell and predict where the ball is going to go, the trajectory of the ball, of where the ball is usually going to go, so you can give an estimation of whether it's LBW or not. The camera ability to make decisions and whatnot. In rugby, where you have like 2-ton fucking men just bashing into each other, and they can get their calls right. And you can't in football? Something is up. Something is up. And I'm saying it now, I don't give a shit. PGMOL has been brought in, or at least it's been corrupted in such a way so that people can skew results and fuck with other teams. There is admission, they've played it where a member of PGMOL or the president of whatever, or the premier, whatever, I can't remember who it is exactly, said, and go do your research. I'm just talking right now as I'm talking, but do your research to confirm. This nigga said, we want to see, to keep things interesting, or to keep the, what's good for the Prem, is for the Prem to change hands and not have dominance. So it's not beyond reasonable doubt, especially given the results and how the results of each of these games have gone this season and the decisions that have been made or not made, to suspect that there's some kind of fuckery afoot, man. You're telling me that Arsenal, Premier League champions, didn't have a red card or a penalty given against them for the entire season. For the entire season. And it's not like they played clean football. There are so many instances where a card, not even a red card, but a card, a caution, was supposed to be given. And it wasn't given. Gabriel, I'm looking at you. There are other situations where second yellow was supposed to be given, and it wasn't given. Gabriel, I'm looking at you. And then let's talk the red cards that weren't given. And I know for a fact because it happened to us as well. went through the back. Somebody went through the back. I think it was Gabriel again. Went through the back of Cunha in our home. I think it was our home game against Arsenal where they won 1-0. Should have been a pen. Didn't give it. No red card. But for much softer things, you give red cards. And you tell me, and for similar offences with other teams, you give cards. You give cards and send people off for that. But not Arsenal for the entire season. You should give PGMOL and Arsenal two golden tiny trophies that said perfect VAR. Invincible VAR. Whatever. Invincible. You don't find that suspicious? Like, it's kind of crazy to think. And there's proof all over the internet for it. People have gotten so many like clips and snippets and proofs. They've compiled entire dossiers of evidence to show you where PGMOL had not stepped in and done its job, or even when it was asked to do so, it made the wrong decision. Arsenal are only champions, and I'm saying this, Arsenal are only champions because of VAR and PGMOL. The amount of times they should have been down to 10 men, the amount of times goals should not have been allowed, and let's not even talk about Arsenal's set-piece tactics and what it's done to our game this season, and what it's probably going to do moving forward. PGMOL, I don't, y'all don't have a reason to survive. I want y'all gone. I'd rather be cussing out refs. Because at the end of the day, I can at least say human error is a thing. And at least we could go into investigations and investigate these humans. You can't hide behind a TV screen and say, oh, well, the data this or the software that or whatever. You can't hide behind that excuse. I might want to get rid of, no, I want to get rid of VAR as we know it right now. People that do tennis, rugby, cricket, get them in, let them sort it out. Because you guys are shit. You guys are real shit. And do some about the rules. Have all these refs and them come across to one accord, like make them go on a course or something during the summer. Because they cannot make up their minds on what is a red card, what is a penalty shout, and when it's time to step in when they see something happen and not wait on VAR. And also how to stand up and say, nah, VAR, I see it differently. I'll make that decision. Or at the very least, if VAR gets involved, VAR gets to make this decision, and then VAR faces the full punishment of it, not the referee. Because you're taking, basically, from the moment you call them and you tell them to go look at it, it feels like you take away the referee's ability to referee the game. So, yeah, I have a real beef with PGMOL, because you're literally gifted and handed the title to Arsenal. That's some bullshit. But at the same time, I'm a bit, conflicted, because that probably would have meant City would have gotten a domestic trouble, and I don't want to see that either. So, if there is corruption, I will be at the head of it. I can't remember in the meme. But anyway, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, Arsenal, if you guys are gonna be, for example, first of all, United, congratulations on a good season, much better season than we thought we would have seen. I'm very pleased at it. I hope we make the best of the situation. Captain Bruno, congratulations. And next game, you're gonna break this record and you're gonna stand alone, and everybody's gonna have to fucking eat that. All the haters are gonna have to eat that. We hope for a better season next season, because third is pretty good, but we need, you know who we are. You know who we are and what we deserve. People in charge, you got a summer to make things right for the next season. Do your jobs. You have been doing some pretty good, decent run of it so far. More of that, please. Glazers, still always Glazers out. These fuckers, still taking money in the background. Let's not forget that. Fucking, what's his name? I'm not gonna forget just because we finished third. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, stop being fucking racist. Stop being fucking xenophobic. Stop being a fucking dickhead to people like me who support the club and who gave you the opportunity to buy this club or seek success here or buy a successful club. We're the only reason why you want to invest in this. Start respecting the black and brown people and the people of color in this club. And stop fucking up with immigrants. We're only better because of immigrants. I'm being one myself. And who knows, I might have paid more tax than you given the amount of tax breaks that you'll get. I'm joking. That's not true. That's not true. He's rich. Probably through companies, he's paid way more than I'll ever earn in my entire lifetime. But stop being racist. Anyway. Arsenal, congratulations. But you are henceforth should change your name to Varsenal. Because, you know why. But still, thank you for not, you and PGMOL deserve trophies, because at least you didn't have City win another trouble. Because that would have been just as dark. You guys are going to be unbearable for this entire summer. Fair play. But I'm going to discredit you at every fucking turn that I get. There was this person that I was having beef with online, and she was like really like, this is when they were down in their dumps, Arsenal, I mean. She was like, oh, I'm keeping the faith. I'm like, you know what? Fair play. You're backing your team to the hilt. Your man is a lucky man because you got faith. You're loyal. And she went and took a cheap shot at my career, my music. I'm like, oh, chill, whatever. And then, you know, the team started to suffer and things were going kind of bad. And I just kept checking in. Hello, are you there? Is everything good? What's your team? It would have been so much better if they didn't win this league. That's the only thing from a personal standpoint, that I would get to rubbed it in. But let's be honest. They made such hard work of it that she couldn't even celebrate and rub it in my face. Because I think she as well knew that they barely got over the line, that because everybody else was shit, that's the only reason why they won. They had shit tactics and anti-football, and they really shouldn't have been winning the games that they were winning because of their dog tactics, that when fouls were being called and red cards and punishments weren't being dealt out towards them. They were favored. Like, she knew. So all she could respond when I said, you know what, I literally went, congrats. Your faith was well placed. Congrats. She said, oh, and your faith wasn't. I'm like, great comeback. But, okay. If you literally initiated the olive branch, because when you were in your doldrums, I was like, are you okay? You're like, I'm on vacation. I'm not paying attention to this. And then I come back and I left you alone. And then I went, congratulations. And you still came back with a lame retort. But you still retorted, even though you're like, oh, yeah. And even if you rub and to me, that's as much as rubbing it in my face. You know what? Congratulations. But I'm going to be on your asses for the entire summer. I'm going to discredit you for the entire summer. I'm going to be salty for the entire summer. But I hide in nowhere. I want you all to know that even though you've won, it took everybody being shit. It took PGMOL favoring you at every single turn to the season, where you didn't have a red card or a penalty given against you, even after more than 10 instances in which you should have gotten that against you for the entire season, which would have seen you draw or lost at least 4 or 5 games. So many things needed to be like in your favor for you to win this, and you almost bottled it. You did everything you could to bottle it. I'm going to remind you every single day of this. I'm going to, as soon as I hear Arsenal fan pipe up, I am coming in hot with facts. And all you'll be able to say was, oh, so what? We still won the league. You can do that. You can do that. But it's going to be in the back of your brain that you are the shittiest team in at least the last decade to win that league. Mourinho did it better. At least his parking the bus had methods and had tactics, and they even called it anti-football. But at least it was still playing football, not rugby in the 6-yard box, and not having VAR and referees on your side. They can say, oh, Leicester didn't win the league, won the league when everybody else was shit. But that's Leicester. Jumping up and down from Championship to Prem Leicester. Winning the league. To where Tottenham Spurs were the one who was supposed to win it and bottle it. They were better champions than you were. Like, you are the worst team to win the league. In the worst way. Under the worst circumstances. Enjoy your trophy. Because who knows? It might be the last one you win in a while. Because if you all continue behaving the way you're behaving, karma's going to come around quick. And karma comes very quick for Arsenal fans. Trust me. Anyway, this is your boy Kai from Revue TV. Salty and signing off.